Igniting, inspiring, and evoking the fire within.
I'm thinking about traveling, but I'm scared. And I said, I feel like I need a boyfriend or best friend to go with me. And she said, you don't need them. You may want them, but you don't need them. Mm-hmm. And if you're scared, it's all the more reason to do it. I don't know where I'm going after. I have no idea. My plan is to just let it happen, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be meeting people from all over the world who are going to say, oh, well, I'm going to Spain next. You want to come? Or, oh, I've got a house in Portugal. You want to go stay there? Or, so I'm just going to roll with it.
You're listening to the What's Your Inspiration podcast with Fox Beyer.
Hello and welcome to episode 62 of the What's Your Inspiration podcast. Today, a return guest on. She told herself, if I could work anywhere, I should go somewhere. She's a writer, a healer, a digital nomad, and again, a return guest, Suzanne Casamento. Suzanne, how are you today?
Hi, Fox. I'm doing really well, and I'm so glad to speak with you again. Thanks for having me back on your show.
It's definitely my pleasure. I was flipping through the Facebook maybe a week ago, and I saw you, a selfie, all masked up on a plane flight, and it said, the post, if I could work anywhere, I should go somewhere. And we wanted to talk off air. You just said, let's just push record and get rolling. So why don't we do this? Why don't you tell the listeners what you're up to and where the seeds of this digital nomad journey were planted?
Well, so the seeds are planted. Let's see. The last time we talked, I was in Vermont. I went to Vermont during the pandemic. My mom and my stepfather live on a mountain in the middle of nowhere, and it was the perfect place to spend the winter. It was beautiful. We're in the mountains. We get to snowshoe every single day. We were obviously isolated, which is what you want in the middle of a pandemic. And we kept each other laughing. We had a great time. And meanwhile, a friend of mine was staying in my apartment in Los Angeles while I was gone. And as the snow started to melt and it got and got a little warmer, I kept thinking, I have to go back there. I don't know if I want to go back there. So I had this neighbor upstairs. It's a weird story. So in February of 2020, I moved into this gorgeous apartment just above the Sunset Strip. Sunset Plaza, actually, and it was an old building, and it had this amazing character, the really weird chandeliers from the 30s, but brand new, just renovated kitchen. So it was like it was just perfect. It's so much character, and I loved it. And so every morning I woke up and I thought, I can't believe I get to live here, which later I found out I shouldn't have said. So that was in February. In March, we shut down. In June, please excuse the exterior noise. The ocean is right in front of me, and there's a little drive where these cars keep going by, and people are blasting music and roaring.
It's very authentic.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of the Sunset Strip, but kind of like this weird Caribbean strip. Anyway, so in June of 2020, this couple moved in upstairs, and the guy, I actually wrote a blog post called "The Terrible Man Upstairs" about this man, because he stomp. All day, all night. I don't know what this guy was doing. And maybe he was just doing tons of blow and walking back and pacing back and forth all night. I have no idea, but he was keeping me awake. I could not sleep. It was just crazy making. And, and I tried to talk with him and his girlfriend, and I had her come downstairs and listen while he walked around upstairs. And of course he tiptoed the entire time. And so they were like, you can't hear anything. And, then I would talk to the landlord, and they said to the landlord, well, we pay a lot of rent, like they were those people. So basically, like, the it doesn't matter if I can't sleep because they pay a lot of rent, to which I was,
Yes.
and I'm holding up my middle finger right now. So,
The salute, the birdie salute. Yes.
yes. So I just knew I couldn't go back to that apartment. I knew I couldn't go back to that energy because energy, does not know walls or floors. And I could feel that man. Like I would sit at my desk and I would know, oh, he's coming home. And then he would drive through the gate. Like I could see him out the window driving through the gate. Like I could feel his energy coming. And so I knew I had to move again. And it was like the millionth time I'd moved. And so I started looking at apartments in Santa Monica and thinking, well, maybe I'll move back to Santa Monica. And then I was thinking, you know what? I don't want to do that. Maybe I should just go somewhere. Why don't I go somewhere? So I did what every good Angelino does, and I called my energy healer. And I said, what do I do? I'm thinking about traveling, but I'm scared. And I said, I feel like I need a boyfriend or best friend to go with me. And she said, you don't need them. You may want them, but you don't need them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're scared, it's all the more reason to do it. So that sealed that deal. And then I started researching islands, and I joined a bunch of digital nomad groups, and I was looking for something below the hurricane belt that had good Wi-Fi, where that was safe for women and was something that I could afford, that wasn't Cayman Islands expensive, but wasn't but was still going to be safe and first world, if you will. So I came up with Bonaire.
Right, Bonaire in the Caribbean Netherlands. Going back to the situation with the man upstairs, I would call that a fail forward moment. Just one of those things that you did not want to happen, but it sort of cleared a path to the future. An awesome fail forward moment in your life, in your digital nomad journey.
I like that.
And I stole that from a previous podcast. A podcast host uses that. It's definitely a fail forward moment. Suzanne, have you read the book or know the book Ask the Dust?
No, I have not.
It's somewhat similar to your story, your recent story about a writer living out in L.A. where you were and just going through some bumps and bruises. But look where you are now. I mean, you give Bonaire a little bit of love. Tell us about the island.
Oh, it's beautiful, and I love that term, fail forward moment. Everything. One of the part of that conversation with my energy healer, I told her, I said that I kept saying, I can't believe I get to live here. And she said, you should never use those words. When you say, I can't believe something, the universe will show you that you're right. And so, I've been keeping that in mind, and I'm trying not to say unbelievable anymore and can't this and can't that. But part of our discussion was, everything leading up to this makes sense. Moving so many times, I've had to move several times because I've been in homes that have had mold in them. And also in 2008, I lost my job. And then eventually couldn't pay my mortgage anymore. And so I lost my home in 2009. So, I had to get rid of everything then. And then I had to get rid of everything again in 2016. And then I had to get rid of everything again in 2020. When I moved into that apartment that I just moved out of, everything was brand new. All the furniture. I mean, it was, so to part with things for me is nothing, because I have no attachment to things now. But if someone had said to me 10 years ago, hey, you want to go run off to a desert island? I'd be like, no. What am I going to do with my stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, I don't care about stuff. So like you said, it's all fail forward moments. The path was cleared for me.
And Suzanne writes about all of this brilliantly in her blog, a timeline of basically from 08 up until now of all of these fail forward moments. So Outstanding. What have you learned about marine life in Bonaire that you didn't know 2 weeks ago when you were getting up at 4 a.m. preparing for this trip? Tell us a little bit about that.
So, it is so beautiful here. I mean, the water closest to me right now is this beautiful turquoise. Beyond that, it's a darker blue. I went on a snorkel cruise on Friday where the marine life was just amazing. There were these plants and leaves that it was like they were waving at me while I was snorkeling above them. You know, the fish were so beautiful and brightly colored. And this island's really interesting because it has a seawall. So, it's not very beachy. There are beaches on the other side of the island, but where I am right now, there's a seawall. And so basically I can walk down steps into the sea in front of me and just snorkel. I mean, it's really amazing. But another thing that's really cool about Bonaire is that it's very eco-conscious. So, for example, you certain types of sunblocks are banned because the chemicals in them are dangerous for the reefs.
Wow.
And there are several reserves on this island, and an amazing national park. And there's a little island in the distance from where I am right now that's called Klein Bonaire, which means Little Bonaire, and it is uninhabited. And it is part of the national park, and it is, you can't, very strict the activities you can and can't do there, but mostly, it's boats will go and drop people off to snorkel, and we actually went out there the other day. But the people are very conscious of the environment and the sea and how they treat it, and that was something that was really attractive to me. There's a guy in front of me who's going to start his scooter right now, and it's going to be like
this is the authentic part of the podcast.
Exactly.
Authentic noise.
I can't shut the windows. I will sweat to death.
We understand. We understand. Now, I mean, as you've talked here and to all the listeners, a lot of this and your success thus far on the journey is partly due or mostly due to your preparation. You talked to us about all the research you've done on various social media groups about how safe the island is, what the Wi-Fi is like. In other words, is it conducive to your personal and professional life? And it certainly is. Now, I want to get into the ugly cry a little bit, but tell us about some of the most difficult and easiest parts of this journey so far.
Yeah, so it's been really interesting. I've had some. The universe has taught me some lessons very kindly. Let me put it that way. Things could have been horrible, and they turned out okay. So I know that I've been very supported thus far. But so I landed last Saturday, and as soon as I landed, I got a message that said, "Your bag has been delayed." And I was like, oh my God. Because yes, I don't need stuff. So I'm not attached to my couch, and I'm not attached to my, table and all this stuff I just sold in LA. But I am attached to my underwear and my bathing suit, and I realized, oh my God, rookie move. So first lesson, always put a change of clothing and a bathing suit in my backpack, right? I also realized on the plane, on the second flight, I realized, oh my God, I left my computer charger in LA in the old apartment. And I was in such a rush and a panic to get out of the old apartment because I had this paycheck that was coming in.
Sure.
On the Friday, because it was the end of the month and I get paid once a month. And I had to get it in the bank before the bank closed, but I had to print the paycheck because for some reason we're still in 2005. But, So I was waiting by the printer, waiting for that check so I could get to the bank. And like we raced to the bank. I ran into the bank and I screamed, yes, I made it. And everybody turned around and stared at me. I was so happy, but I was so frantic all day waiting for that check, because obviously I need the money. So
all these emotions coming together. I understand. We understand.
Yes. So I left the charger there. And so it was Saturday and I had taken off work until Thursday. I gave myself Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to calm down, figure out where I was, find a grocery store, things like that. So I thought, oh my God, I'm going to have to figure out how to get a charger by Thursday because I have to work on Thursday. That was my immediate thought. Then it was like, boom, your bag's not here. So then my suitcase and thankfully I had my backpack and my laptop with me. And I had my phone and obviously purse and my amp coil. I have this frequency healing device. So that was with me, but no clothes. So I go to the baggage area. I get to customs. I go to the baggage area, and I'm waiting for a baggage agent, and they keep saying someone's coming, and I'm telling myself, island time. Calm down, stay calm. Meanwhile, it is 40,000 degrees, right? And
You're
I'm
sweating
in
rockets.
Oh yeah, 'cause I'm in pants and a t-shirt, but long pants and sneakers and socks because I freeze on planes. So I have and I mean it is the heat was incredible. And in LA I'm used to heat, but it's dry heat, totally different than this wet, moisture, humid, crazy, sweating.
Yes.
And I'm tired and I'm hungry and I know that there's a taxi driver waiting outside to take me to my Airbnb. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm keeping this man waiting. Where's the agent? So behind me come these two people. So there's a woman and her suitcase is just smashed.
Ooh.
It's a hard case suitcase that is down to just the cloth that covers this suitcase. I can't explain it. Smashed. This other woman has this scuba gear and she's holding up a fin that looks like it went through a wood chipper. And I'm like, oh my God. Right? And then her suitcase is torn to shreds. There was scuba gear in there that, it looked like a wetsuit that looked like it had melted. And I was like, oh my God, is that what happened to my suitcase? Oh my God. Meanwhile, calm down. Wait for the agent. I'm just trying to stay calm.
Island time.
Yes. So after an hour and a half of waiting and finally filing the claim with this lovely woman, I filed the claim. I walk outside and I'm looking for the taxi driver and there's a woman standing there and she's holding this sign with my name on it. And I'm like, oh, is that my taxi driver? And then she says, it's Jean. And Jean is when I told my friend Tina that I was coming to Bonaire, she said, oh, I have a friend there. It's Jean, her name is Jean. Let me introduce you. So Jean and I had a phone call and Jean was super friendly and answering all of my questions and just the kindest human in the world. She's also a realtor at Remax on Bonaire if you plan on moving here.
Okay. Shameless plug. I like it.
Shameless plug. Yeah. But she says, it's Jean. And I realized, oh my God, it's Jean. I said, where's the taxi driver? She said, I sent him away. And I said, really? And she said, and I said, my suitcase is lost. And she said, I'll take you to my house. Let's get a toothbrush and toothpaste and something for you to wear. And I burst out crying. Just sobbing, ugly. It was, Jean, oh my God, Jean, you don't understand. Oh my God, Jean.
So that's the ugly cry right there.
Oh yeah. It was fierce. So we went to her house and she gave me toothpaste, toothbrush. She gave me shorts and t-shirts. And then we went to her friend Irene's next door. And Irene was like, here's a bathing suit. And here's a dress. And I was like, I love you humans. Like, it was amazing. And then the next day, Jean took me to the supermarket.
So the finish line was a gauntlet, basically. But once you got through, it was smooth sailing.
Yeah, she was an angel. So was Irene. I mean, it was really incredible. So then the wait was on because I was trying to find, I kept going to American Airlines, like, where's my bag? Where's my bag? No answers, like waiting for a human, your bag has not been located. It's like, this is what I'm getting on the phone. Are you kidding me? So I knew, so flights only come here Saturdays and Wednesdays. So I was praying that the suitcase was going to be on Wednesday's American Airlines flight from Miami. And at one point, I did get what looked like a confirmation that my bag was on the Miami flight, but there was no scan. It was very confusing. So on Wednesday, I took a taxi to the airport. And, I forgot to tell you about the computer charger.
Yes. We can get to that, though. It's all weaving in, Suzanne.
Yes. So the computer charger. So when Jean took me to the supermarket, we also went to this crazy superstore, which she called a Big Lots on steroids. It was such a good example. I mean, a good definition for what it was. But and they had a universal computer charger. But then when I took it home and I plugged it in, yes, it would charge the computer, but it's not like an adapter that stays charging while you're online the entire time you're working. So I could get like an hour or two charge out of it, but it wouldn't hold. I was like, oh my God, I can't work on Thursday like this. What am I going to do? So panic. So I write in this Facebook group, this Bon Air Facebook group, and I'm like, does anybody know where I can get a computer adapter for an HP laptop, blah, blah, blah. And this woman responds, and she says, if you Amazon me the HP adapter you need, I'll bring it on Wednesday's flight. I could not believe it.
Was that alone? Did you ugly cry alone when that happened as well?
Definitely got teary, let me tell you. Oh gosh. So yeah. So on Wednesday I went to the airport hoping to get the adapter and hoping to get the luggage. And so I'm standing there waiting as people are coming out and waiting. Meanwhile, my taxi driver's waiting for me. He's like, I'll wait. And I said, this could take forever. I'll wait. I mean, he was amazing. Wow. So I'm waiting, and all I'm thinking is slow down, because while I was rushing on earlier in the week, my friend had helped me take boxes over to my friend's house, and I forgot something, and I went running back into the building. He yelled after me, slow down, because I'm gonna fall over and kill myself, so I kept hearing his voice all week. Slow down. So while I was at the airport, I was just like trying to stay calm, not think about whether the bag was there or is the bag not there? Is the luggage there? Would the woman have the adapter? Or is the woman not going to have the adapter? It was just
a lot of variables.
Oh, yeah. And then she came out. I had a sign with her name on it. I came out and she said, here's your adapter. And I was like, oh my God, I love you. And so that was incredible. And so I thanked the universe. And then I said, okay, let's go get that suitcase. So then I kept asking people for help, who do I talk to? I'll talk to the agent, the American Airlines agent. The American Airlines agent says, we'll talk to the security person. The security person says, we'll go wait over there. I wait over there. Somebody else says, go back to the security. So I finally got somebody, a man who was listening to me. And meanwhile, I'm waving at the taxi driver like, I love you, thank you. And finally, I see the woman, the wonderful woman who I met on Saturday, who had filled out the claim for me. And there she is. I see her and I start crying. I say, it's you. And
your savior.
Just looking at me like, you lunatic woman. What? What? So, oh, sorry. I just remember the look on her face. And I said, you took my claim on Saturday. And she said, I don't remember. What is your last name? I said, Casamento. She said, I have it. I said, you have it? She said, yes. Now I'm really crying. So
3 words, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She sends me through security. We go back there and she says, well, how long are you going to be here? And I said, I'm going to be here till December. She said, how are you doing that? And I said, well, I'm a digital nomad. She said, I'm Miss Tourism Bonaire. And I've been trying to figure out how to get more digital nomads to come here. And I was like, wow, you need to join this group, this group, this group, this group. And it was just so funny because it was like, we helped each other out. And now she and I are following each other on Instagram.
All these pieces just coming together. I mean, just a series of fell-forward moments. And, with your suitcase, the story before, Suzanne, with the fin and the scuba suit, you would think your suitcase had gone through a war zone, so you didn't know, right?
Yeah.
But you really, at that point, didn't care. I wouldn't think.
Well, it was perfectly intact, and it was packed exactly the way I had packed it, and no one had touched it. It was not rifled through. It was untouched, and you know what? I didn't lock it. So things I learned again. Because the universe could have made this horrible for me. I mean, that bag could have been gone. That bag, and let me tell you, they want you to have a receipt for every single article of clothing in order to get reimbursed for it. I do not have, a receipt for the bra I bought last year. It's like, so it would have been so incredibly difficult to get all that stuff back. And I mean, it was a very gentle way of saying, okay, next time you're going to have to figure out how to carry on. That was the first thing, and the second thing was make sure you have your electronics with you. And, also the other message that I just kept getting is people are going to help you. I mean, Jean helped me. Irene helped me. I met another woman in the apartment building where I've been staying, and she and I went out for drinks. I mean, like, people, she took me to a CVS so I could get like bug spray and hair stuff, and not a CVS, but an equivalent of a CVS. I mean, everyone has been the woman who brought my adapter. I mean, people are just so kind. I met another woman, Billy, through the Facebook group. She took me on the historical cruise. She had me over for dinner with her family. I mean, the kindness has been incredible.
You must be living right. You've got to be living right. That's all I can think of. Everything just seems to be falling into place. What you talked about staying there until or through December, correct?
Oh, mm-hmm. Sorry, drinking water.
As she sips water, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. So my plan is, as I mentioned before, my mom and my stepfather live on a mountain in Vermont in the middle of nowhere. So my plan is, so Americans can come to Bonaire for up to 6 months within a 1-year period. So, and my apartment lease was up on July 31st. So that's kind of how I came up with this time frame, this August 1st to December something. And so in the middle of December, I'm gonna head to my brother's house in New Jersey because I have not seen my brother. I have seen his wife and his girls. Thankfully, they came up to Vermont and saw us at the tail end of the pandemic, which was just wonderful.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, but I haven't seen my brother. It will be 2 years in December, so I'm going straight to his house, and then I will go up to my mom's. I'll go up to Vermont, and then I don't know where I'm going after. I have no idea. My plan is to just let it happen because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be meeting people from all over the world who are going to say, oh, well, I'm going to Spain next. You want to come? Or, oh, I've got a house in Portugal. You want to go stay there? Or so I'm just going to roll with it.
Hence digital nomad, right? You're not lying when you say digital nomad. You mean it. You
Oh, I
mean
mean it. I mean it. Yeah.
100%. Now, as we wind down here, let's touch on the writing piece because
Yes.
you are a writer, and that's how we first connected. And from a recent blog post, listen to this. This is what writers do. Suzanne, what do writers do?
I don't remember what I wrote. I know what I was talking about. Yeah. So, so the other night when I went to Billy's house, with the Tedesco dive crew, who are amazing, we had dinner and we were watching this amazing sunset. And, one of their crew members, Nate, is like Encyclopedia Brown. Just knows everything. It's awesome. And so, he was standing next to me and he said, "So, see that area where it's all flat? That's because bubbles are coming up. There are divers underneath, and so when the bubbles come up, everything becomes clear in the water." And I was thinking about that and watching the sunset. It reminded me of when I was a kid. Even when I was older too. But throughout my life, my mother, anytime I'm with my mother and, we see something kind of interesting or just sort of like where someone might elbow someone else, a situation like that, she'll just put her hand onto my arm and she'll say, "Say this,"
Uh-huh.
And because she knows that those things come up in my writing. And it's not a conscious thing. It's definitely a subconscious thing. And we store bits of information and feelings and emotions, and then they just bubble up in our stories. My latest novel, which I'm now shopping, there are so many things in this novel and in this person, this character, who she is also on a healing journey. She uses all the wrong strategies to cope until they no longer work. And which that I did. So from experience, I did that. But there's so many situations in that story, feelings and emotions where I don't know where they come from, but they just bubble up and they're somehow saved. And it's like, those are the best moments when we surprise ourselves and we go, "Wow, I wrote that."
Yeah, in I guess today's terms, it's been downloaded, and now you're sharing it with the world to make it put it in a digital sense, I guess.
That is such a great way of putting it. Yes, I've downloaded those things, and I don't even remember doing it. It's wild.
Well, you've probably done a lot of things on this journey that you don't remember, that you're going to remember in a couple of days or some time.
Yeah.
Final piece to this wonderful interview. Empty your pockets, not literally, but share some final advice to the listeners.
I just thought I don't have any pockets. Yeah. So here's something that has been resonating with me and just banging around my brain for like the last year or so. Has been, it doesn't have to be this way. And I mean that in terms of your own life, our own lives, but globally, it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be left or right or wrong, white or black, red or blue, hate or love. It doesn't have to be this way. And I think that we are, as a society, on a global level, are at a tipping point where people are starting to realize, listen, we're either going to go one way or the other. And it could be absolute brink of disaster, and or we could transcend into the world of love and peace that we should be. But it doesn't have to be this way. And I know that sounds, and I have to recognize my own privilege in this situation. I don't have any children, any parents, a husband, there's no one relying on me. So yes, I can just get rid of my apartment and pay rent here instead. You
have a good perspective. We understand that.
Yeah. But so I understand that it's more difficult for people, right? So when I say it doesn't have to be this way, someone else could say, well, you don't have a husband and kids and people relying on you and blah, 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 blah. It is this way. It has to be this way. So I also mean that on a micro level too. You can change the way you are living. Small, tiny changes, like do something for yourself. Go take a drive and blast the music. Go figure out how you can get an afternoon away from your kids or your husband or your whatever. Read a book.
Right. Whatever your reality is, our reality is, we can change it in some way. Whatever our reality is, whether we're married with kids or we're single and we're digital nomad, whatever that is.
Yes. And we don't have to be stuck and unhappy and in the muck. You can make small incremental changes. You don't have to do something crazy like get rid of your apartment and your car and everything you own and go to another country. You can incrementally make changes to feel better, And I just think that people don't even realize that it's possible to feel better.
And you're the living, breathing example of that. You started the whole journey by doing things in small increments, getting rid of. Okay, and this might have started back in 2008 when you lost your house. Maybe those were the seeds. You learned how to purge yourself of things that you didn't need. Save your grandmother's kitchenware, but you've learned, and your entire story is very, very inspirational. It hit home with me for several reasons, and one of the main reasons was that listen to the universe here. I'm reading a book called The Happiness Pursuit, not the Pursuit of Happiness, and the author, Chris Gillibo, writes of people going on these enormous life quests. He himself is a man who has gone to every country in the world before he turned the age of 35. And there are a bunch of others. And I'm thinking, well, Suzanne, you should be in this book for the leap that you took. It's just a great story. I think you've encapsulated it there by saying it doesn't have to be this way. And it's a very profound way to wrap up this interview. So thank you so much for your time. What to end up here? It's New Year's Eve of 2021. What do you want to have accomplished by then?
Oh, I want to sell my latest novel, All the Moments in Between. It's just, it's a profound novel about healing. But it's not preachy or about, this is a book about healing. It's about a woman who's a basket case, and throughout the book, comes to realize that she is worthy and deserving of love and living and friendship. And it's just, I think people really need to read it, because I think that we are so depleted of emotional and spiritual nutrients that most people don't even feel that way. That they are deserving of love and friendship and living in a healthy way. That's how messed up we are.
Yes. We need those nutrients. Please spread those nutrients on us come December. I'm waiting. What's the name of the book again?
The book is called All the Moments in Between. I'm searching for the perfect agent, and that's what's happening right now. But if anyone wants to follow my journey, I'm blogging nonstop at SuzanneCasamento.com.
Which I will post. I'll post a link to your blog in the show notes. People will be able to go right
love
there.
That. Thank you.
For sure. Of course. And Suzanne, the way that things are going, I think you might find an agent in Bonaire. It just looks like things are trending in that direction.
Yeah, I think yes. Yes, I would agree, Fox.
as she stares down at the ocean just beyond her front door. Suzanne, this has been an absolute blast again. Thank you for your space and your time, and best of luck on your digital nomad journey.
Oh, thank you. I loved it. Thank you.
This will wrap up episode 62 of the What's Your Inspiration podcast. Suzanne and I will talk to you all later. Take good care.
You have been listening to the What's Your Inspiration podcast with Fox Buyer, because impact on each other is the greatest currency you could ever have.